sorry about that technical difficulty. Um, Glad that you're still on this. My name is Casey Clark, and we're going to get started with today's webinar. Um, so, very happy that you're interested in applying to College to Congress and helping us change Congress one intern at a time. So before we get started, here's a couple Zoom housekeeping. We have the raise hand option. And so this is things like, can everyone hear me? Can you raise the hand? That is going to be on the bottom. Let's check that out, or at the top, depending on. I got 3, 4, 5, 6. Awesome. I got many participants raising their hands. Thank you. So if you want to unraise your hand, you can unclick it and then it'll go back down. Awesome. And we also have submitting questions to Q&A, and I have my colleague, Rochelle, manning the Q&A. So during any point, you can go ahead and message her if it's just a one-on-one question. She'd be happy to answer. And then finally, we have comments in the chat. So if you have a question or a comment that you'd like to share to everyone, there is a chat box. Now, a little bit of tip, on the bottom, it says that there is send message to panelists or send message to panelists and attendees. And if it's a question that you'd like everyone to see, make sure you have the attendees on there. My colleague, Brendan Henson, is going to man those questions. All right. I'm going to shift off of video real quick. So my name is Casey Clark. I am the program director at College to Congress, and I'm going to be your go-to source for everything College to Congress related. I help with recruitment, I lead the application process, the program itself, and then ultimately when you shift over to our alumni. I'm also an avocado toast enthusiast, very millennial of me. Gotta have it. My team knows that about me as well. And why do I love College to Congress? So my background is in education. I love helping others, especially people who are learning and growing as individuals. I used to be a STEM middle school teacher. And so when I moved to DC, I wanted to do something else, but still work with students. And so I love seeing people grow, especially in the public service sector. Okay, here is our webinar agenda. I'm going to tell you a little bit more of College to Congress, who we are, what we do, and how we help. I can answer any questions that you have about the application. So what we look for, how to stand out, what to avoid, and some important dates. And then Q&As. We have our frequently asked questions that are on our website. And then we also have questions that you submitted to us when you were registering for this webinar. So I'll be happy to answer those questions. All right. So that picture right there is our cohort, our class of 2019. They were just here. It felt like yesterday. And they're amazing, incredible people that are, affecting Congress and doing public servant careers. So our mission is to create a more inclusive and effective Congress by empowering the next generation of public servants. So what we mean by effective is, in order to have the best outcome, there needs to be diverse voices at the table. And so we take socioeconomic status as our variable to bring different voices to Congress. So what we do is we help students like you come serve, intern in Congress in order to build that pipeline to have a career. Just to get to know them, here are 3 students that have gone through our program already. In the top left-hand corner, that's Jasmine, and she actually just visited our office today. It was so nice to see her. She is stopping into DC for a conference, but she worked in energy and commerce under her representative. So she worked for the minority. Mia, she's on the right side in the graduation hat. She worked for Senator Maggie Hassan from New Hampshire. And when she graduated from Dartmouth, she came back to DC to help build that pipeline. And she is currently a staff assistant for Senator Doug Jones. Last but not least is Joshua. When he was here this summer, he worked for Senator Kamala Harris. And now he is actively looking for jobs to stay here in DC and work in Congress long term. So here is a program overview. I'm sure you've seen this on our website, but it's always good to hear it from a voice to describe it. And if anything, jogs a question, make sure you put it into the Q&A or the chat. So first and foremost, Securing congressional internships, that is what we're here for. So when we select our class of interns, we help with interview training, cover letter writing, and resume writing to send off to congressional offices. We do a loose pairing, so if you want to work for your representative or your senator, we will we will do all of that for you, and then help you through the interview process. Secondly, when people think of College to Congress, they think of us as covering expenses. It is very difficult, especially for students coming from low-income backgrounds, like our founder herself, who created College to Congress with her story in mind, to move to a really expensive city and to live here. So what we do is we cover expenses like flights to and from DC, within DC, so that, ride shares, metros, everything in between, meal stipends, flex spending, and then something that people don't really consider. DC is a very professional setting. It's unlike any other city. And so we help with a professional wardrobe stipend. And that's to get your professional wardrobe started so that you can fit in the halls of Congress. Third, this is really near and dear to my heart and to our organization as a whole, is we pair each intern with a bipartisan ally. So this is kind of like a mentorship. All of our bipartisan allies work as staffers on the Hill, and we pair them with a student of ours of the opposite party. Now, we do this to build relationships to, again, make Congress more effective. Bipartisan bills are the ones that stand the test of time. And so when you have an advocate or a friend across the aisle, you're more likely to have sustainable change. And so we want to build those relationships right when you get to DC. The fourth aspect is we provide training and development. Now, I mentioned that we have training for resume, cover letter, but we also go beyond that. We do networking 101, career mapping, budgeting, financial literacy. And then beyond that, we have lessons on how to be a good staffer in Congress. So a lot of interns are coming in not knowing anything, but we're giving you the tools to, when someone says, talk to the LD, what does that stand for? Who are they? What is the hierarchy? Do you talk to the member themselves, or do you talk to the chief first? So we really give you the tools to succeed on day one. Finally, we connect you with jobs on Capitol Hill. This is to create that pipeline that I was talking about earlier. Internships are incredible and so important, but the impact that we're seeking is to have that pipeline of people to work in public service long-term, especially in Congress, the people who are writing legislations, the people who are doing comms to do communications to an outreach for districts, people who are gonna be there long-term to help their communities back home. So here is the timeline. You might have seen this on our website. October 1st is when our applications open. We suggest that you complete your application and submit letters of recommendation, before October 31st. So October 31st is our priority deadline. And people have been asking, what does that mean? What does that entail? And so one, it means that you're really serious about our program. So we take that into consideration. I know it sounds nice to kind of procrastinate for another month to turn it in November, but it really shows us that you mean business when you turn it in before October 31st. Additionally, we let those candidates who move on to the next round know earlier so that you can start preparing. And then also, people who are maybe not a good fit, you can start applying to other programs and we'll help you with that as well. November 30th, that is the general deadline. The application officially closes on this date. December, so that is when we get to the next rounds. Applicants will be notified about moving on to the next round, and then mid-December, semifinalists will move on to the next round. That's under wraps right now, so I can't answer what that entails, but it is, we want to get to know you more in that round. January, the finalists are selected to join the College to Congress program. This is going to be in late January. The finalists directly interview with congressional offices. So like I mentioned earlier, we don't have places for you because we want to see a good fit. So when we work with congressional offices, you still have to interview and get that internship. And then ultimately in May, what we were all waiting for, pack your bags because you're off to work in DC. When you're here, in the bottom right-hand corner, I kind of put it off to the side, but it's a 9-week program. And so You'll be here from May 27th to August 1st, 2020. These are our FAQs. If you have any questions specifically to go into detail about this, please ask Rochelle or Brendan. They'd be happy to answer it. Otherwise, if you just want an answer to them, they're on our website. So getting to your questions. These are the ones that were submitted by you before the webinar. Is there more than one essay? Yes. So we are a very competitive program, and we want to make sure that we're choosing people who are the best fit. So we have multiple essays in regards to your academic success, your civic engagement, why you want to be in Congress. And it's always good to describe specific examples. That's what I suggest, because when you start to do like, I want to serve my community, period, a lot of people are answering that. So my inside scoop answer is there's going to be more than one essay, but really show off yourself with specific examples and relate it to your life. Second question, is there a list of members of Congress that applicants are limited to selecting? So unofficially, no, there's no limit. If you would love to work for your member of Congress or your senator, that would probably be a great fit since you're a constituent. You can understand and relate to the community. And so I know we have a congressional champions list that we really lean on and are supported by, and they're already a internship champion. But it usually is a a personal basis of selecting offices that you want to apply to. If I don't have a 3.0, should I still apply? Yes. So we've had amazing candidates that have had 2.8s, 2.9s, but we really suggest 3.0. If you are, around that 3.0 but have slipped below that, we do have an addendum on our application that you can use to explain the reason. So let's say you're working multiple jobs and class really piled up, or you had a family situation. We're really understanding about that 3.0. So it's a little bit flexible. The second question in the same vein is, I used to have the Pell Grant, should I still apply? Also, yes. If you used to have the Pell Grant, but you just lost it, or for whatever reason, you have a unique situation, go ahead and still apply, and then use that addendum to really share why, and so that we can understand your full picture and the full scope of the things. What member of Congress will I work with? Again, this is lots of facets to the situation, but we try really hard to find an office that's a good fit, policy-wise, district-wise, etc. When will I hear back from College to Congress about the final decision? I mentioned that before, and it's in the timeline on our website, but it's going to be around late January. Are there fees to apply? Absolutely no fees. So when it comes to October 1st, when the application's open, go to our website, click apply. It's going to change away from the interest form to the application website. And you'll see that you just need to register and start your application. Absolutely no fees. And also I can extend that. There are no fees for our program either. It is a program for you to succeed, and so we help you financially. Do we need to have sealed reference letters? Who and where should we send the reference letters to? We take the reference letters into consideration heavily. People who know you best is really important to us. So make sure, this is like a tangent, but make sure you choose people who know you and can reference specific examples, again, very specific examples of your success, of your passion for public service, of your leadership qualities, and then they would be good candidates for your reference letters. Now, they don't need to be sealed or sent anywhere, because as you'll see on October 1st, your reference letters will be sent virtually online through the application website. So you will have a link or an email to send off to them, and then it's going to be anonymous, and you'll just get a notification that they have completed it. So with that, as a reminder, and to leave you with a final message, the priority application deadline is October 31st. The final application is November 30th. And then once it's October 1st, go to www.collegetocongress.org/apply, and that'll send you to our application. And if you have any specific questions, please feel free to email info@collegetocongress.org. I'm going to leave the chat box open and the Q&A open for the next 5 or so minutes to see if there's any questions that still need to be answered, maybe specific to the application, specific to placement, that Brendan and I and Rochelle can answer. But thank you so much. I'm really excited to get to know you and read your applications, and please stay in touch.